Check out our streaming schedule for this week. We stream every single day on this channel, talking about all things sports history. And now with college basketball season really getting in the swing of things, we are doing a lot of college basketball streams, commentating the action as we get one step closer to March Madness. So join me every night as we call the best of college basketball. And now, on with our feature presentation. I'm about to say something incredibly controversial. I'm about to spew a really hot take that could get me canceled or get me in a lot of trouble. Not that a lot of people are going to agree with me on this, but screw it. I don't care. I have a hot take that I need to get off my chest, and you're going to hear it right now. Pizza is awesome. There, I said it. So bold, so controversial, so brave. Pizza is an amazing food. Just writing this script makes me hungry for it. It's the New Yorker in me. We're naturally born with pizza in our blood. Nothing beats that perfect combination of the crust, the sauce, and the cheese. New York slice, brick oven slice, you name it, pizza rocks. And you know what else rocks? Getting things for free. If someone told me, hey, do you want this item or this piece of food? I'll give it to you for free. I'm not passing that up. There's a reason that Costco is so popular. There's a reason that cruise buffets are the most dangerous places on earth. And now, we're going to do a bundle Rooski Andy Reid style and bundle free food with pizza. If there's a really good looking slice of pizza available and I can get it for free, instead of having to pay for a meal, I can get pizza for free and fulfill my appetite without hurting my wallet. Heck yeah, I'm doing that. The number of stories in law school that I heard from people about people who attended functions from different clubs they had no interest in solely because they were giving out free pizza is alarmingly high. You'd be surprised how many people you can draw to an event with the promise of free food, and in particular, free pizza. So if you're about to get free pizza, and then someone pulls the rug out from underneath you and says that this pizza isn't free and you have to pay for it, that would kind of suck, right? You think you're going to fulfill your appetite, and as it turns out, that thing turns out to be anything but true. You'd be insanely ticked off. Well, if you ever wonder the answer to the question, what would it take for fans to boo their team off the field, even when they won a football game? Allow me to take you back to an incident that took place roughly 3 decades ago between the Atlanta Falcons and the Detroit Lions, when Detroit fans nearly caused a riot and booed their hometown team all over, you guessed it, pizza. And when I say that everyone on the outside was completely perplexed by this, I mean it. No one knew what was happening except for the people inside the stadium. And if you were watching this game and were highly confused about how it ended, I'm going to break it down for you, because it turned out to be one of the most bizarre endings in NFL history from a fan perspective. Because this is the story behind the crazy ending to the 1996 game between the Detroit Lions and the Atlanta Falcons, and the time that Lions fans booed their own team after winning a football game. Before I start the story, make sure you hit that like button down below, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we post on the channel. We post every single day about the weird and the wacky history of the NFL, and every bit of support counts as we try and get closer and closer to 70,000 subscribers. So I would really appreciate your support by liking and subscribing down below. Thanks in advance, and with that, let's talk about what turns out to be nothing short of a saucy situation. Before I talk about what actually transpired at the very end of this game, we need some context to understand how the game itself was going, as well as the importance of this NFC battle. It's October 6, 1996. It's week 6 of the NFL season, and we find ourselves at the Pontiac Silverdome for this battle between the Detroit Lions and the Atlanta Falcons. For the main team in our story, the Detroit Lions, this is an absolutely massive game for them. Following 2 straight wins, they find themselves at 3-2, right in the thick of things in the NFC playoff picture. 6 teams make the playoffs, and right now, 7 teams in the NFC have 3 wins or more, with another 4 teams on 2 wins. So we've got a bit of a logjam on our hands. And this is especially true in the NFC Central, where despite their 3-2 record, the Lions find themselves a game behind both the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings for the division lead. Win this game, you can keep pace for the division lead and position yourselves very nicely nearing the halfway point of the season and your bye week. And seeing as this game is against a very bad and a reeling Atlanta Falcons team that finds itself at 0-4 with the second worst point differential in the conference at -66, this game should be an easy win for Detroit and a good chance to get to 2 games above 500. And the good news for the Lions was that they started this game off with an absolute bang. They were firing on all cylinders to get this thing rolling, as after scoring 4 touchdowns on their first 6 drives, they found themselves leading at 28-0, looking as though they were in complete cruise control. A 2-yard touchdown run by Scott Mitchell, a 9-yard touchdown pass by Mitchell to Brett Perriman, and then 2 touchdown passes from Mitchell to Herman Moore made it seem as though this one was over before halftime, and the Falcons were going to have no chance at snapping their 4-game skid to open up the season. Unfortunately for the Lions, after this hot start right here, the team cooled off a little bit, and the Falcons were able to storm back, scoring 24 straight and trailing at 28-24 with 6 minutes left in the contest, following 3 Jamal Anderson touchdown runs and a 47-yard field goal by future Hall of Fame kicker Morten Andersen. But as long as the Lions could hold onto the ball for the final 6 minutes of the contest, they would be okay. Just don't give it back to the Falcons, and you're good. It'll be tough, seeing as there are 6 minutes left, and the Falcons have all of their timeouts. But if you can cook up a masterful drive that gets a lot of first downs and churns the clock, you're golden. You're going to go to 4-2 and survive the scare. Sure enough, that's exactly what the Lions did. On their final drive of the game, they managed to pick up 5 first downs. They converted a 3rd and 6 for a gain of 32. Barry Sanders had a couple of nice runs. They got a defensive holding penalty to go their way, and with 2nd and 9 at the 14-yard line, and the Falcons having just 1 timeout past the 2-minute warning, Johnny Morton picked up 13 yards before going down to the 1-yard line. The Falcons had to burn their final timeout, and seeing as we were past the 2-minute warning, that was your ball game. All the Lions needed to do here was kneel the ball out, and they'd win the game and go to 4-2. Just have Scott Mitchell fall in it 3 times, and the game is over. It should be a joyous occasion in the Silverdome, right? You just won your 3rd straight game. You just improved to 4-2, and you did it with that incredible drive at the end to take it down to the 1-yard line. The fans should be celebrating and should be joyous right about now, right? Well, take a listen to the crowd as Scott Mitchell takes a knee at the 1 and then continues to take kneel downs.
1st and goal. Scott Mitchell down to 1 knee as the clock continues to run. Lions leading the Falcons 28-24. Kenny Albert and Ron Pitts from the Silverdome in Detroit. Falcons with no timeouts remaining.
I think that's smart what they just did. Atlanta has no timeouts, and everybody in the stadium is mad at Scott Mitchell, at Wayne Fontes for not running Barry Sanders and scoring another touchdown. But Atlanta has no timeouts. Why should they? I mean, there it is right there.
Lions do not want to lose the football. Barry Sanders fumbled earlier.
Why get Barry? I mean, this guy is thoroughly upset. He just can't understand.
I mean, don't they understand the Lions are about to win the game and go 4-2?
Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, he understands. He understands thoroughly.
And
it's second
Scott
down.
Mitchell, yes, second down. Scott Mitchell threw 3 touchdowns, also ran for 1. Falcons have fought their way back.
They can run another 2 plays, kneel on it, and be out of here.
And Mitchell is down to 1 knee as the Lions will win their 3rd game in a row, and they hear the boos from the crowd.
Isn't it amazing? To be 4-2, this team, these people, years past would have loved for this to happen.
Well, the Lions will win their 10th consecutive game here at home. Falcons will lose their 7th in a row on the road. And last year, the Lions did not win their 4th game. They did not pick up their 4th victory until week number 10. So the Lions will go to 4-2, travel to Oakland next week, while the Falcons host Houston 1 week from today, and Atlanta, despite the valiant effort here in the second half, will drop to 0-5. 3rd down, Mitchell down to the knee once more, and the Detroit Lions.
That's right. They're booing. Despite the fact that the Lions just won the game, and despite the fact that their home team pulled off the win in dramatic fashion, the Lions fans were booing their team. You're probably wondering the same thing that the Fox announcing crew of Kenny Albert and Ron Pitts was. Why on earth would you boo? Trying to score here would make no sense. If you tried to score from the wins-losses perspective, it would be a dumb decision. The Falcons have no timeouts. Nothing good can come from trying to score. You could fumble the ball. The clock could stop on a penalty. If you do score, you give the ball back to the Falcons, where they have a chance of driving down the field, scoring themselves, and then recovering an onside kick and winning the game or forcing overtime. I think the Fox announcing team, in no uncertain terms, called Lions fans dumb and stupid for booing their team by the goal line for not trying to score, even though it made no sense to try and score. What head coach Wayne Fontes did here, and what this man did right here, was the right decision 100%. Which raises the obvious question. Why the heck are they booing? Well, it's got to do with one thing, and one thing only, that no one on the Lions knew, and that no one at Fox knew. Pizza. You see, if the Lions scored 30 or more points in a game, anyone who had tickets to the game could bring in their stubs to a local pizza place, and they'd receive free pizza. And like I said earlier, who doesn't like free food and free pizza, especially if it's good? I'm not entirely sure who this pizza company was, so I can't attest to whether they're any good or not, but 30 points gets you pizza. And seeing as the Lions had 28 points, if they tried punching it in from 1 yard out and successfully scored with one of the greatest running backs of all time in Barry Sanders, all of the 58,666 fans in attendance would get free pizza. The risk reward for these fans was not the same as the risk reward for the man that you're seeing right now, Wayne Fontes. For Fontes, there was no reward to scoring, because the main objective is to win the game, and taking 3 knees guarantees the win. But for the fans, there's no chance that, if you fail to punch it in from 1 yard out, that the Falcons are driving 99 yards down the field with no timeouts and a minute left to win it. Or if you do score, that the Falcons are scoring twice in a minute with an onside kick recovery. The odds of getting 1 yard in free pizza are significantly higher than the odds of disaster striking and the Lions losing the game. The win was all but a guarantee in their eyes. They wanted pizza, but the Lions players and staff, they had no idea about this until after the game, when they were perplexed as to why the Lions fans were booing. After confirming that they were in fact booing and not saying boo earns in honor of their kick returner, Glenn Milburn, a fan let Wayne Fontes know in no uncertain terms that through what he considered to be cowardice, that he cost them pizza. Said Fontes, "I want to apologize to our great fans. When I was going off the field, somebody said, 'Thanks for the pizza.' I had no idea what that meant. I did it because there was no way we could lose. I'll win by 1 point or a half point if I can. The bottom line is to win." And obviously, Fontes has nothing to apologize for here. His goal was to win the game, and taking a knee allowed him to achieve the goal and win the game. But at least it made sense afterwards to the players, even if it made no sense in the moment. As quarterback Scott Mitchell said about the decision by his coach, this man you've been watching this whole time in Wayne Fontes, "We did what it took to win the game. I know the fans are upset because we didn't score 30 points, and they didn't win a pizza." And as Herman Moore, the receiver who caught 2 of the 3 touchdown passes thrown by Mitchell in the first half, said on all of this, "I was trying to understand the boos. It was kind of weird." And yeah, if you had no idea that there was a promotion where 30 points gives all the fans free pizza, then booing your own team after they won the game and were just kneeling it out would seem completely out of left field and seem as though it made no sense whatsoever. Unfortunately for the Lions and their fans, they would not be getting any more pizza for the rest of the season, nor would they be getting a whole lot more wins. Despite their 4-2 start, the Lions collapsed down the stretch, as the team lost 9 of its final 10 games to end the year with a disappointing 5-11 record, while outside of the playoffs after making it the previous year. Unlike 1995, there was no second-half turnaround for the Lions this time, and Wayne Fontes was on the hot seat once more. Not for failing to get the fans pizza, but for failing to get the fans wins. The Lions wouldn't score 30 in a game the rest of the season, and Fontes would be fired at the end of the year, with Fontes being replaced by former San Diego Chargers coach Bobby Ross in 1997, the man who guided the team to Super Bowl 29 in their first and, to date, only Super Bowl appearance ever. But if there is a moral to the story, it is simple. Do not deny people free food. Do not deny people free pizza. If there is a chance at free pizza, you go for it. And if you deny fans free pizza, there will be blood in the streets and there will be a price to pay. Was Wayne Fontes a good coach? That's debatable. Was Wayne Fontes a pizza terrorist? Absolutely. Because on this October day in 1996, when the Lions decided to take a knee at the 1-yard line to win the game, but deny their fans free pizza in the process, it left the entire crowd at the Pontiac Silverdome saying, "What the crust?" Be sure to like and subscribe if you have not done so already, as it helps the channel out a lot, and check out my other channels, JG8 for the history of college football, JG7 for the history of baseball, and JG9 News, where we talk about all things happening in the NFL. Join me every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we'll play live NFL trivia for cash prizes. And make sure to join me live, as we're on stream just about every single day. And thanks to all our Patreon members and our YouTube members for helping out the channel. See how you become a member and show your support financially in the description down below.